Before we dive into this story, drop your city or country in the comments. Let's see how far this story travels. Today, we're talking about Alicia Carter, a black woman CEO who was told to wait outside, and in just 1 minute, she changed everything. What happened in that short moment shocked everyone and completely flipped the power dynamic inside a major company. This isn't just a story about business. It's a story about respect, authority, and standing your ground when no one expects it. Stay with us. You won't believe what happened next. Alicia Carter was no ordinary executive. From a young age, she displayed intelligence, focus, and determination that set her apart. Born into a modest family, she worked tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder, earning each promotion through skill, vision, and sheer persistence. Now, at 38, she had become a powerhouse in the business world, a woman who commanded respect wherever she went. Yet, despite her achievements, Alicia remained humble, calm, and composed. Today was supposed to be a routine visit to one of the companies she recently acquired. But something in the air felt different. There was tension she could sense, a subtle undercurrent of doubt from those who had yet to recognize her authority. Alicia's pride and confidence were unshakable. But deep inside, she knew that the events of this day would be a turning point, for her and for everyone waiting inside. The company's headquarters was a sleek, glass building that gleamed in the early morning sunlight. Alicia stepped out of her car, her heels clicking against the polished stone entrance. She wore a tailored navy suit, carrying herself with the quiet dignity of someone who had earned every accomplishment. Inside, the lobby was cold and impersonal, with executives moving briskly past the reception desk, absorbed in their own worlds. A security guard glanced at her, eyes flicking with mild curiosity, but quickly returning to his post. The receptionist, a young woman barely old enough to have a full career, looked up from her computer, her expression a mixture of indifference and barely concealed judgment. The atmosphere felt tense, almost hostile, yet Alicia remained poised. Every step she took radiated professionalism and authority. She sensed that the people in this building were about to test her, and she was ready to show them exactly who she was. Alicia approached the front desk with a warm, professional smile. "Good morning," she said. "I'm here for the executive meeting." The receptionist barely lifted her eyes. "Deliveries go through the back," she replied flatly, her tone curt. Alicia blinked, suppressing a hint of surprise. "I'm not a delivery," she said evenly. "I'm Alicia Carter, the new CEO of this company." The receptionist's eyes flicked toward the lobby, sizing her up, then back to the computer. "Then you'll need to wait outside. The management team is in a meeting." Alicia stood silently, observing. The whisper of people passing by carried judgment and skepticism. She could feel their assumptions, that she didn't belong, that her authority wasn't real. Yet she didn't argue. Calm, collected, and unshaken, she stepped aside. Every detail, every glance, every word was being noted, silently. In preparation for the moment, she would show everyone exactly what respect truly looked like. Alicia stepped aside, phone in hand, and waited quietly. The lobby seemed to hold its breath. People whispered, glancing at her with curiosity and doubt. Time slowed. Then a sleek black car pulled up outside. Her company attorney rushed in, eyes wide with shock. "Miss Carter," he exclaimed, "you shouldn't be waiting here." Come inside immediately. The realization swept through the lobby. The woman they had dismissed, the one they assumed was unimportant, was the new CEO. Gasps filled the room. Whispers turned into startled murmurs. In that single minute, the energy in the building shifted completely, signaling the start of a power reversal no one saw coming. As Alicia walked through the building, silence followed her. Every eye tracked her steps. Executives who had once ignored her now straightened their posture, trying to appear professional. But the fear of misjudging her authority was obvious. Inside, Alicia's mind raced calmly. She recalled every moment she had been underestimated, every time her abilities had been questioned because of her gender or race. Yet here she was, standing stronger than ever. The quiet confidence she carried was more powerful than any word she could speak. With each step, she projected calm strength, dignity, and focus. The building itself seemed to sense the shift. The hierarchy she was entering was about to be rewritten, and everyone in her path, intentionally or not, would have to recognize her authority before the day was done. Alicia entered the boardroom. The managers who had dismissed her earlier were already seated, shuffling papers and avoiding eye contact. Their polite smiles were forced, their nerves evident. The room was thick with tension. The ticking of the clock seemed louder, every scratch of a pen magnified. They had underestimated her, misjudged her presence, and now they felt the weight of her authority. Alicia took her seat at the head of the table, her posture perfect, her expression calm but commanding. The contrast between her composed authority and their fidgeting discomfort was palpable. She didn't speak immediately. Instead, she allowed the silence to linger, letting them squirm under the quiet power she radiated. This was the moment the room changed. A test of character, a test of respect. And Alicia was ready to see who would rise and who would fall. Alicia's gaze swept the room. Her voice was calm, steady, but each word cut through the tension like a blade. "This morning, something happened in the lobby," she began, pausing just long enough for every eye to focus on her. "Some of you assumed I didn't belong, that I wasn't important. That moment revealed more than you realize." The executives shifted uncomfortably in their seats, avoiding her gaze. Guilt and fear were written clearly on their faces. Alicia's calm eyes scanned each person, letting them feel the weight of their misjudgment. "I observed your character before I even walked inside this building," she continued, her voice unwavering. "And what I saw will guide the future of this company." A silence filled the room, thick with anticipation. Every mind raced, wondering, what exactly was she about to do? The suspense was tangible. The moment of reckoning was about to unfold. Alicia opened her sleek leather briefcase, revealing a stack of folders and envelopes. The room braced for a speech, expecting a lecture on conduct or corporate policy. Instead, she reached inside and began distributing the envelopes, one to each manager. A hush fell over the boardroom. The sound of paper sliding across the table echoed like a drumbeat of fate. The suspense was unbearable. Each envelope carried a message that would change lives in an instant. The executives exchanged nervous glances, uncertain who would be affected. Finally, she paused, letting the tension stretch. Every heartbeat in the room synchronized with the revelation they were about to receive. Alicia spoke slowly, deliberately. "Your services are no longer required," she announced, her voice firm but composed. Shock rippled across the room. Some executives gasped. Others opened their mouths to protest, but no words escaped. She continued, "This decision aligns with the vision and values of this company. We will no longer tolerate disrespect, bias, or disregard for authority." Her eyes held a quiet fire. There was no anger, no revenge, only clarity and justice. The managers fumbled with their envelopes, reading the words they had dreaded. The room fell silent, each person processing the gravity of the moment. Alicia didn't raise her voice. She didn't shout. She simply stood, radiating calm authority, letting the weight of her decision settle in. By the end, it was clear. Leadership was no longer defined by fear or arrogance, but by dignity, discipline, and unshakable confidence. Executives quietly gathered their belongings, whispers spreading through the building like wildfire. Employees outside the boardroom paused, sensing the shift in energy. The power dynamic had changed in an instant. Doubt and skepticism gave way to respect and admiration. People began to realize that the woman they had underestimated wasn't just a CEO. She was a leader, a force of quiet authority who demanded and earned respect. Conversations softened. Nods of acknowledgement replaced sideways glances. The suspense that had gripped the office transformed into a collective release, a feeling of empowerment. Alicia's presence had reset the tone for everyone, leaving a ripple effect that would be felt long after the doors closed. Alone in her office, Alicia sank into her chair and exhaled. The adrenaline had faded, leaving a calm clarity. Memories of years spent being underestimated, overlooked, and dismissed flowed through her mind. This wasn't revenge. It was correction, a restoration of balance. She gazed out the window at the skyline, sunlight glinting off the glass buildings. A quiet triumph filled her chest. Every step she had taken, every challenge she had faced, had led to this moment. She had proven that respect wasn't given. It was earned, and sometimes it had to be claimed decisively, with grace and unwavering confidence. The story of Alicia Carter reminds us that respect should never depend on appearance, gender, or assumptions. True strength lies in discipline, calmness, and the courage to act when the moment demands it. Alicia's actions weren't fueled by anger or ego. They were guided by fairness, integrity, and vision. She showed that standing tall, even when doubted, can transform not only a room, but an entire organization. Her story inspires viewers to hold their ground,